Hello, I hope you've been enjoying my color combo series that I'm doing. Today, I'm going to continue focusing on the fall colors, but I'm putting a little twist on it. Join me in my studio and I'll show you how. Okay, what I've done is last week I pulled fall colors. Or actually 2 weeks ago. So it was crumb cake, Cajun craze, cherry cobbler, crushed curry, garden green, old olive, and rich raspberry. I'm still continuing with my fall theme, but I'm going to show you that the way Stampin' Up! Has designed their color collections, they almost fit a season, or yeah, I guess you could say season since fall is season. From this, crumb cake is not in here, but I am going to just set it aside. There were some other colors besides these that fit that in that Regal's collection, and that's Blackberry Bliss, Pumpkin Pie, Real Red, and Shaded Spruce. I had used these a little, but I hadn't used these. So I went looking and I decided I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss and Pumpkin Pie. So I pulled those two colors out and they looked really well together. And I thought, well, let's try Cajun Craze. When I put that in there, it didn't really thrill me. To me, this and this would have been okay, but the blackberry just kind of throws it off. But I really want to use blackberry because I like to throw in a new color for fall, like blues or purples. So I said, all right, let's try Old Olive. So those are the colors I'm going to be using for my card today. All right, I'm going to pull out my blackberry, my pumpkin, and my old olive. And I'm going to move these out of the way so that they're not there. I'm going to set those up there. I'm going to be using the Little Delights stamp set. Now, I got this when I did a retreat with another demo, and we got a stamp set in there, and she used this a lot. This, I'll be honest with you, I had overlooked this one in the mini catalog, but it's a great set. So for today's card, I'm going to be using You're Such a Blessing and these leaves down here. So with that, I'm going to try and put that where it's not going to fall down on me. I have cut paper. This is 1.5 by 2. Actually, they're all 1.5 by 2. Don't ask me why I felt I needed to measure. All right. And then what I'm going to take and do is one of them I'm going to turn so that it's in this orientation, not portrait, but landscape. And I'm going to use my Blackberry Bliss to stamp my sentiment. And the reason I turned it is so that my sentiment would fit in there. All right, I want to make sure it's inked up good. So I'm going to stamp that in the center. All right, and then I'm not going to close that up. Now I'm going to take my leaves and I'm going to do some sponging on my leaves so that they look like they're changing colors. So I'm going to ink this up with the pumpkin pie. Then I'm going to take my old olive and a sponge dauber, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to kind of add some green on there. Let's see. Well, I'm not seeing any on there. Maybe there wasn't any on my... it's in there now. I think my sponge dauber, I hadn't used it in a while, so it was dried out. I'm going to go back through the middle again. All right, so I've got some double colors on there, and if not, I'll redo it. Yeah, I can see it. All right, so I've got some green on there, which is good, because the leaves do change color in the fall and they don't change all at once. So you see some interest. I probably have more green than I need, but that's all right. Now I'm going to clean my stamp. I'm going to ink it up again with pumpkin pie. And this time I'm going to come back in with my Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to stamp it on here. All right, so I have some color there. All right, so now I have my images all done. I'm going to clear these out of the way so I don't get it on anything. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to put it on my card in this orientation. I'm thinking, what color do I use? This is what I do all the time. I take my one color and I lay them out, say, okay, not bad. Then I take the next color and I lay it out. This one to me pops more than this one. So this one has been eliminated. And then I'm going to use the last one, which is the green. And let's see. I will go back and forth like this. I still think I like the Blackberry Bliss, so I'm going to use that one. I just think it gives it more of an interest. All right, I've got this laid out, but it's missing something. And you could emboss the background, but I like to do something besides embossing all the time. It needs some sparkle, you know me. So I'm going to pull in this fine art ribbon, and it's perfect for fall. It's got just a touch of gold running through it. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to add a bow. I got to find my tear and tape. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to take this, flip it over, and I'm going to add some tear and tape. Now I use tear and tape on my ribbon because I want it to stay stuck down and I want it sandwiched between the ribbon so I don't have to worry about it pulling apart. I did a project and I couldn't believe it. It was like, dang, it fell apart on me. The ribbon came apart, so it's like, okay. And I hadn't used my double-sided tape. So I'm going to add this down at the bottom, like so. And this has kind of a crumb cake background. So you could use, I'm using a very vanilla background to go with that, but you could easily use a, what am I thinking? A crumb cake instead of the very vanilla. I just kind of, I try to limit my colors. I don't use too many. So there we have that. I'm going to pull in my card base. And you could also just take, oops, I'm off. I'm off on my scoring. As a playing tricks on me. Okay, there we go. You could very easily just put it on a Blackberry Bliss card base and keep it a single layer. Got to get my seal out. All right, and this is going to go on here like so. All right, there. Now, these go on here, and I'm going to put these up on dimensionals. I'm going to put these up on dimensionals because I want some more interest. So I'm going to cut my dimensionals. Like so. And I'm going to flip these over because I can put my dimensionals on all at once. All right. have it ready to go. I'll flip them around. I'm going to do opposite corners and one in the middle. Because I think that'll work, and I don't have enough, so I got to cut the other side. So let me just cut one, not waste your time. There. So I have my pieces all on. Gonna take my backs off. Oops, too many. Gotta clean it off. And there. All right, now here's my center one, and I'm going to put that on upside down. And the reason being is I want to make sure that I have enough spacing, and I'm going to look spacing here and here and make it even. And I'm going to put that right about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, if you struggle with getting your panels lined up, what you can take and do is I take my ruler and I set it. This is a T ruler that I use. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to put it even with that edge. All right? And that way you can use a straight piece of paper, whatever. I like the T ruler because it sits against the side here, and you know you got a straight line going across. But you could use your grid paper with a ruler and do the same thing. And then this one goes in the middle, and I'm going to center it top to bottom, and the spacing is about the same. And there, I've got it. Now, to finish off my card, I'm going to add a bow. All right. So I'm just going to tie a simple bow. You could tie a knot if you want. I haven't tied this. Oh, it does tie pretty good. I didn't know how it was going to tie. Sometimes if the ribbon is stiff, it doesn't tie well. And that's when I tie a knot rather than a bow. And I know some of my ladies don't like bows. They would rather use a knot. They're not good at tying them. But I like the bows. And now I'm going to take a glue dot. And I'm going to put one on to the left of the knot and one on the right of the knot. And what that does is it grabs hold